What's up? What's happening? Got that thing fired up from the very famous Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? I got an update on your account too, but I'll talk to you about it later. Anyways, what's happening? We live. We streaming from all social medias. Facebook in the house, YouTube in the house, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I'm sorry, Instagram. Thank y'all for coming on. What's happening? What's up? Um, Comment where y'all from. Let's see where y'all checking in from. We got a decent lesson today. I can't stay on too much longer. I have to meet with somebody here in the next 30, 45 minutes or something. I'm not sure. But yeah. Yeah, what's going on? So, question of the hour. So we're checking in from all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So, one piece of guidance, or I don't, the admission free is here. I mean, the mission here is free, but if you would please, if you could just go to YouTube and watch this, right? Click the link in the bio, or the link will take you to it have all my social media there. Just click on the YouTube one and watch from there. If you want to sub, you can, but you don't have to. But just by you being there makes me money, right? And it's not even a lot of money. It's probably a couple $100 a month or something like that. But it does help. I'll take free money if they're gonna give it to me. And if you want to contribute and support the channel because you like the things I say and I give you value, and if I give you value, at least you can do is support me over there. Okay. So the YouTube channel is called The Rich Get Richard. And yeah, so I'm The Rich Get Richard on all social media platforms. My name is Mr. Richard. If you don't know me and never seen me before, right? I talk everything, 95% of everything out there about money, right? There are some areas that I try not to touch. I'm not a real big crypto person. I don't do IULs. I really don't do insurance policies, but I will break down insurance policy. If you ever wanted to talk about them, I can break them down as the average person and how they should go about them. We also do, we break down all different types of stuff. And yeah, so the question of the day, the subject of the day, because I always think about this before I get on, and then I'll get to whatever questions y'all got, because I like people to like start coming in here slowly but surely. The question of the day or question of the hour is, what should you do if you have $5,000 or $10,000 to invest? Okay, I get DM that or that question asked comically 10 times a day, easily. What should I do with $5,000, $10,000? Okay, so I'll give you the perspective from me and my perspective and what I would do. Okay, because $10,000 is a good start, but it's really not a lot of money. So I'm gonna have, first of all, I'm gonna kind of educate you on your mindset when it comes to that $5,000 or $10,000, and then I'm gonna educate you on what you should do with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get started. So you got $5,000, $10,000, but I'll just make this $10,000 just to make this a little easier, right? If you only got 5 or you got 10, I'll just use that. More than likely, if you have $10,000 in the bank, it's really not a true $10,000. Generally, when people have $10,000 in the bank, it's a cultivation or a collection of their other monies, right? If you have $10,000 in the bank, more likely it's your like glorified savings. It's more than likely the money you use on a daily basis. And what you've done is you've not spent more money than you've earned for a significant amount of time. So for example, if you make $5,000 a month, but your bills are $3,500, that's $1,500. Month one. Month two, $1,500. So that's $3,000. Month four, you might go to a concert or something, so you only saved $1,000 that month. So you just been doing that for 5, 6, 7 months, and the money you use to live off of is in the $10,000. So what I want you to truly understand is that you need to have not just $10,000 in like a Rotary account or the primary checking, right? Is it that kind of money, or is it like I have a savings account, or I have a high yield savings account with $10,000 on it, plus I have the money that I have in my checking account that I use for daily expenses? Ask yourself that first, because a lot of times when people say, "Yo, man, I got $10,000 invest," you really don't got $10,000 invest. You are rotating $10,000 for your daily expenses. So in theory, if you didn't get paid next month, or you didn't get paid on you got paid on one of those weird days and all your bills come out on the first, your account will be down to $5,000. You need to understand that when people say I have this amount of money to invest, do you really have that kind of money to invest, or you just have a rotation of money that comes in and out? And at any given time, you might got $5,000, but on the high end, you have $10,000, right? So when you say, "Hey man, I got $10,000 invest," right? I don't want you to be like, "Well, let me pay this bill first, and let me take this out first, and not let me pay this now, and then I have like about 8,005." Like, no. A true. I have $10,000 in an account that almost doesn't get counted for anything, right? So that's what you need to understand whenever you're talking about investing. And when you say that, if you came to me and said, "Yo, I got XYZ to invest," cool. Do you really have that amount of money to invest, or you just have a rotation of money in and out? Okay. So if you need to start establishing parameters on the money you invest, that means that you need to start separating, almost like church and state, right? You need to separate them. If I have $10,000 in rotation of my checking account, technically you ain't got no money to invest, right? Now you need to start taking money from that rotation and putting it into mutual fund, ETF, IRA, 401k, or something like that, and or a high yield savings account. So now that money becomes a true, I have $10,000 to invest. Because a lot of people don't look at it like that. A lot of people look at it as, I got $10,000 to invest. No, you got $10,000 of rotation money, right? But if you had true, like if you came to me and said, "Yo, Mr. Rich, how much money you got to invest?" I say, boom, I know to the damn near thousands of dollars how much money I have. Well, for me, it's a little different, but because I have 6-7 figures, waiting to be allocated. Right? It's not a rotation of money that sits in my primary checking. It's not a rotation of money sitting in my multiple business account checkings. It's not petty cash. It's not accounts receivable. None of that shit. It's just money that has nothing to do with nothing else, has no ties to anything else, and I can allocate it and put it to work at any given time. Okay? So now, say once you start doing that and you have a true $10,000, $5,000 to invest, what should you invest in? Right? You have multiple different things you can do. Multiple. It just depends on your risk tolerance. It depends on your financial situation. It depends on you. It depends on what you have going on. Okay? First thing, how's your credit? If your credit sucks, there's no point in you trying to go out here and have $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 worth of credit or of cash, and you can't do nothing with it, because as soon as you try to go apply for a home loan, or you try to go out there and apply for a business loan, you're going to get denied because your credit sucks. I'll almost take somebody with no money and good credit than someone with money and bad credit, because someone with money with bad credit can't buy nothing but stuff with cash. And there's not too much stuff that you can buy that's really, really valuable with cash. So you got to get your personal credit in order, And then there's levels to personal credit: 580s, 600, 620s, 650, 680. 680, you can qualify for 99% of everything out there. And a lot of people are like, "Yo, man, I'm trying to get my score as high as it can get." Why? That's like you practicing. That's like you practicing how to jump the highest you can, but you try to dunk a basketball. You don't have to jump as high as you want to. The goal is 10 feet. That's your goal. Get to your goal. Anything over that is a waste. It's the same thing with buying a house. Yo, man, your first house, your credit score needs to be at 580. Man, I'm trying to get my score as high as I can before I buy a house. No, 580. That's your goal. Get the 580. Let's go get a house. Right? A lot of people overthink that. You want to buy a business? 680. You want to get business funding? 680, 670, 660. Let's go there. Now we can focus on that. All right. So getting your credit in order is a must. So next things you could be doing to invest your $10,000 you have. If you're going to use it anytime soon, you need to be in a high yield savings account. High yield savings accounts, interest rates vary from 4% to 6%. You know, you leave it in a primary checking account or some shit like that, it ain't going to make sugar shit. We know that, you know that, I know that. It's sitting in a damn primary checking account or a savings account through the banks, you're making a half a point every year or some crap. You're technically losing money if inflation is over 3%. On the average inflation rate is 2.8, 2.7, 2.9% maybe in any given year. So you're losing money by leaving it in a checking account. If it's in a high yield savings account, which on average is between 4 to 6, at least you're making a little juice on it. Not a lot, but you're making some. Okay? So now it should be in one of those funds making a little money until you try to allocate it towards something else. Then if you want to invest that money, you need to be in something that makes a little more money. Right? Which everybody should be doing this. If you don't have a 401k at your job, which you should be doing anyways, if you don't have a 401k, you should be in an IRA, EFT, mutual fund, or some kind of stocks or some kind of bond or some kind of fund that performs and tracks the stock market over an extended period of time. Now, those interest rates, instead of a high yield savings account from 4 to 6, now you're making anywhere from 8 to 16. Now you're making a little more money in your juice. And if you're if inflation is 2.7, 2.8, or whatever hell it is, and you're making 10, which the stock market has made 10.1% since the Great Depression, you made 10.1 to combat your, now you're making money on top of your money. And then once that money starts making money, you can borrow against that. We're on step 2 now. There's multiple ways you can do this, right? That's why I always there's so many ways you can invest $10,000. It's crazy, right? One, you can fix your credit, start paying down your debts, start getting some of this stuff discharged, hire a credit repair company, hire a person to dispute your negative things on your credit. Baby mama payments, medical bills. You can dispute your charge-offs, your late payments, your repos, your bankruptcies, your hard inquiries. You need to get that shit off there, right? You should be doing that. That's first. Number 2 thing, you need to be investing, putting your money in something that makes money. First thing is high yield savings account, unless you have enough to want to buy a house. You got about 10, 15,000, you can start buying houses if your credit's right. Step 1, credit. Step 2, high yield savings account to invest in a property. If you don't have enough money to invest in a property, let's say you have $4,000, then, this step, you can just put it into something that makes money, right? ETF, mutual fund, IRAs, 401k, 401ks, that's through your job, but that's another story. So you put it in that and you contribute to it every month. Automatic allocation, dollar cost averaging. Boop, 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 boop. And that pot will slowly start to grow. And now let's say you got 20 grand in this account. What do? Do you cash out the 20 grand and then go buy a house or go buy a business or go buy some cars to put on Turo or use the money for a Airbnb or something? No. You just go to the bank and ask them, hey, I have $20,000 in stocks. Do you do portfolio loans? Or you can just Google banks that do portfolio loans. A collection of stocks that you have is called a portfolio. It can be a mutual fund, ETF, IRA, stocks, bonds. You can borrow against that. You don't have to sell it. You say, hey, I want to borrow against my collection of stocks. And they will loan you generally 80 to 85, maybe 90%, depending on the bank, of what you got. So if you got 20 grand in this account, they'll give you a loan for 18,000. Now your stock will continue to perform at 10.1% interest on average since the Great Depression, while you take the $18,000 and you go invest that in something else. You want to buy a couple cars to put them on Turo? That's for that. As long as it makes enough money to pay back the loan. That is debt servicing 101. 101 debt servicing. Debt servicing is when you buy something using debt. The debt will be covered or paid by whatever you buy. So for example, you take $10,000, you put 10% down on a $100,000 business. Let's say the business is bringing in $50,000 a year. You borrow $90,000, the business is bringing in $50,000. The $50,000 is going to come in. Your payment to the government is going to be about $10,000 a year. You making 50. So you take 50 of the money you're earning from the business, you pay back the loan, you're servicing the debt, and now you have the $10,000 you put into it, you pay yourself back. You take all your money out of the deal. So now, the year one, you made $30,000. You paid yourself back $10,000 from the down payment. You paid the government back because you took out an SBA, Small Business Administration loan. You paid them back $10,000 for that year, and you still up $30,000. Your bank account wins. You win because you got cash flow. And then the government wins because they're keeping the business established, and they're winning because you're paying the loan back. Win, 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 win. All I do is win. I just do the same thing on a higher level. Instead of 100,000, let's go for $3 million businesses. Let's go for $1 million businesses. So when people say, how can I invest $10,000? I mean, that's how you do it. Let's say you had $20,000 in the account. You take a loan against the $20,000. Now you get $18,000. Now you got to go find something that makes $18,000 a year, or at least enough to cover the payment. Let's say that $18,000 payment over 3 years, right? That's $6,000 a year. $6,000 over 12 months is $500. You need to buy something that makes $500 a month. You're like, damn, Miss Richard, that was pretty smart. Your math is pretty fast. Yeah, I was gifted at math. I was diagnosed with being gifted at mathematics in the 7th grade. But my reading is probably still the 7th grade level. We have pick your poison, right? I was great at math, not good at everything else, right? So then if you wanted to do that, and that's if you wanted to do that. Let's just say you just wanted this, you had decent credit and you just had $10,000 saved up. Now you need to find stuff that you can buy that pays you monthly, right? There's tons of stuff you can invest in. You can invest in vending machines. You can invest in a couple cheap cars on Turo. You can invest in a side hustle or a side business. You can start a pressure washing business. You can start a window washing business. You can do a lawn care service. I mean, there's like the possibilities are endless. It's just your imagination. You have to go for it. I mean, I can sit here and tell you till I'm blue in the face, which ain't happening because I'm dark skinned, until all the different ways you can start side hustling. But in theory, you don't even need money for a side hustle. You don't even need money for a side hustle. You can start side hustling for free. You can pick up somebody. If you have a truck, you can pick up somebody's, dispose of somebody's stuff. You can start couch flipping. You can do free cycling. You can do, you can get into wholesaling or bird dogging if you want to. You know, there's multiple things that you can do. You can start a OF, yeah, but no OFs, right? But there's multiple stuff you can do, right? Side hustles for females. I'll even throw a couple out there. Rover.com. You can babysit people's dogs. Wow. Is there such a thing? Yeah, you can babysit people's dog. Hell, I think it's an app called nanny.com. You can babysit people's dog. When people want to do like house dates or something like that, or people want to go out for the night, you can go over there and watch their kids for 3 hours and then get paid, 50, 60, 70 bucks. 20, 30, $20 an hour to sit and watch somebody's kids for 3 hours because they want to go out on dinner dates and stuff like that. The Rover thing, I didn't realize how many people, every time I started talking about Rover, because I had a client who owned a doggy daycare who added Rover to their services, which damn near doubled their revenue. Instead of, they had a doggy grooming business, and instead of just grooming dogs, they would babysit people's dogs, and people would drop off their dogs and have them get groomed at the same time as they was watching them. They just they already had the space for it. They just never utilized it. So I said, why don't y'all just start taking care of dogs? It's like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Get 2 people, 3 people to sit in the back, pay them $15 an hour. That's $45 an hour. You get $30, $40 back there. You fucking rack up. It's just something to think about. Or let's say you have the space at your house to take care of a whole bunch of dogs, right? Just tell people to drop off the dog at their house. You charge them a flat fee. Okay, cool. I'll charge you, $300 a week, and you just drop off your dogs and you just take care of a whole bunch of dogs. You walk them, you take care of them. I mean, you have to just start thinking outside the box. It's there. Money is there. The easiest way to think of it is, how can you get paid off someone else's laziness or someone else's inability to want to do something? If you look at it like that, multiple opportunities, okay? Multiple opportunities. Just like, or couch flipping is another good side hustle. You got a truck and a buddy. I had one guy who was a client of mine. This was a while back. He reached out to me and said, yo, man, I want to buy a business or get into real estate. I said, okay, cool. Let's sign up. So he signed up. We were sitting down talking. He said, I ain't got no money. I said, well, you're going to either need to raise money from the bank or you need to raise money yourself. But this is what I recommend. I recommend you do both. Be working on your own money while you're working on the bank's money. Because if the bank money don't work out, at least you got your own money. And if your money don't work out, at least you got the bank money, right? Or I call myself sometimes the options guy. I give you as many options as possible. You need to try to do them all, right? And whatever hits. Whatever hits. Michael Jordan said, or whoever, Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? You shoot 100 times, you damn near can make one, okay? So we got to talking, and I broke down how to couch flip. They said, okay, cool, we'll couch flip and we're going to have a goal of $20,000. We're going to couch flip until we get to 20 grand. Not only did they make their 20 grand, they said they had a whole system down, and then they were going to stop couch flipping. First of all, let me tell you what couch flipping is. First of all, you go to Facebook, you search free, or you search couches for sale. And then you find them, or couches, just search the term couches. You go in there and you see couches on there, right? There's tons of them, tons. And when I tell you to look for them, look for vices in people. Look for reasons why people are getting rid of it. Hey, couch, must sell today, moving out the country, gonna throw it away. That type of stuff. If you're looking for those people with I call them vices, reasons why people want to do something. You find the things with vices attached to them, people are selling. If you want a car flip, vices. I'm going to jail. I'm moving out the country. I have 3 cars. I must sell it for a family emergency. You look for reasons why people want to sell, right? So now you have a reason to kind of lowball them up, or, hey man, I see you have this couch on here. You want $400? I'll give you $150 and I'll come pick it up now. Man, I can't do that. That's too low. Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye. An hour later, can you do 175? Yeah, I'm on the way. Take it, clean it up, take a picture of it right then and there. Take a picture of it right then and there. Put it right back on Facebook. $500. We'll deliver small fee. People will call you. Oh man, that's a nice couch. Cool. It's $500. I can deliver it for $550. Can you do it for $450? I do it for $500. Deal. I'll deliver it. How much you just made? $275 from taking one couch from someone else's house to someone else's? Come on, dog. Come on, man. $275 to take a couch from one person's house to another, or $325? Hold on, let me see the math. $325? Yeah. $325,000 from taking a couch from someone else's house to their house? These guys was making so much money, they said, you know what, Mr. Rich? We don't even want to buy a business now. We just want to expand what we have now. I said, okay, cool. This is what you do. Are y'all putting y'all couches in y'all garage or something? Yeah. Okay, cool. You need to either do one or two things. You need to do a storage unit, because you're going to start getting a lot of couches, or look for a cheap, like, commercial building, and then just stage them all there and open it up to the public on like a random day. We'll say Sunday from 12 to 5. I'm like, no, from 10 to 4 or something, right? And then when people message you, hey man, is that couch still available? Yes. If you want to look at it in person, just come to our warehouse on Sunday. So now you don't even have to go to people's house anymore. You're just picking them up for free, or for pennies on the dollar, taking them to your little storage building, and people are coming to you now and looking at the couches. And if they want to take them there, that's fine. And if you want them to deliver, you just say, hey, you can buy it now. I'll put it on hold. I'll deliver it to you first thing tomorrow. Now you have a whole different operation going on. And it's just a different way of thinking about stuff. I mean, a lot of this stuff is really not hard. It's just you have to just want to do it. You have to start thinking outside the box. You have to try to think of ways that people are making money out here that you've never really thought of, you know? So, yeah. But moral of the story, people, there's multiple ways you can invest $10,000, right? I gave you ways you can invest with no money. I gave you ways you can invest to put into high yield savings account and start investing into mutual fund, ETFs, stocks, or something like that. And then I even started saying working on your personal credit. And then I started saying, even look for assets that you can buy with the $10,000, right? You can find some businesses for $10,000 down. You can find real estate with $10,000 down. Easily. I mean, there's properties all over the nation that you can buy $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 that will owner finance for your $10,000. And the price difference between the money you invested or the money you pay them monthly and to how much you get in rent will be astronomical. Some of these profit margins are $600, $700, $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,400 a month. If you bought a property for $10,000 down, your payment to the owner is $600. And let's say you rent it out for $1,600. That's $1,000 a month. Meaning, in a year's time, that's $12,000. You made all your money back in 10 months. So in month 10, what do? Do you take your profit and go to the club, put it down on a Hellcat? Do you go on a vacay? You go get the latest Jordans? Shit, no. You go buy another house and go buy another and another and another. And then one day you look up and you got 10. Then one day you look up, then you have 20. Another day you look up, you got 50. And then you're making 30K, 40K a month from all these properties. And then you'll start getting offers from portfolio loans. Hey man, I got a portfolio of 116 homes. Old man want to retire. Cool. You want to pay capital gains tax? Nope. Deal. Here's my down payment. I'll pay you directly for the next 10 years. But there's ways to do it, man. Okay. So, hope y'all found value in that. It's rapid fire question time. Bam, 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 bam. This is my favorite part of the show. Is when you just ask the questions and I try to get to them as fast as possible and as detailed as possible. Sometimes I go on rants. Sometimes I just get to the point. But ask me whatever you want. Property overstock, proving property overstock. I don't know what property overstock means, but there is a lot of stock out there. There's a lot of companies. There's a lot of places you can go. I think we're in a softer market now. I think people aren't really buying like they used to. Prices are overpriced, interest rates suck, and people are broke. So it's kind of rough now. So yeah, but you still can find deals. You can find tons of deals out there. All right, so let me get to this. I'm looking at businesses all day long. Yeah, sir or ma'am, you can look for businesses all day long, but I'm gonna tell you something. I will get people that will sign up for my coaching program or my mentorship or my one-on-one, and they'll have a kind of a grasp or a grip on how to find businesses. Businesses aren't hard to find. Evaluating them properly is where you run into the difficulty part. I get emailed 30 businesses a day. I get emailed 100 pieces of property a day. I come across deals all day long. Do you know how to properly evaluate? Do you know what to look for when you're buying a business? Do you know what goes into the proper deal structure? If you don't have that down, then you're kind of focusing on the wrong thing. It's like I've been like I get on Tinder. Like so, say if you get on Tinder and you're just swiping right, left, and you're just looking at the person, right? If you're just looking at the person physically, there's more to relationships than just a physical attribute. There's more to a business. There's more to real estate than just the physical attributes. You need to learn what goes into a relationship. And a lot of people look at relationships wrong. A lot of people look at real estate wrong. A lot of people look at businesses wrong. You're looking for the beauty part of it a lot of times. You're not looking at the substance, what's going to get you through the hard times. And once you start understanding, like once I start breaking down and evaluating businesses, you'll start looking at businesses totally different. A lot of people say, yo, man, I found a ton of businesses I like. Let's look at these 10. Okay, cool. Do you know how to evaluate a business? Nope, cool. Let's talk about that for the next, I don't know, half an hour. Half an hour later, they're like, okay, pull the same ones you just had up. They pull them up. Yo, man, these all suck. Yes, thank you. That's why I said as soon as I saw these, do you not evaluate businesses, right? Because people don't know how to do it. So someone said, how do you get started? I have a free webinar that breaks down investing, credit, how to evaluate businesses, how to find businesses, how to find real estate, different type of loan programs out there, different types of lending packages, different types of funding packages. If you're interested in any of that stuff, just click the link in the bio. It'll take you to a class called Be Your Own Boss. If you see the Be Your Own Boss, sign up. It takes a comically less than 15 seconds to sign up, and we'll go from there. Right? And I don't sell your information. You won't get spam calls. You won't get all this other kind of crap that you get with all these other guys. You just get access to a webinar with me there, and we talk and we learn. About as simple as gets. You tell it, brother, hey man, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. How do you buy a wood furniture business? Right? Mostly all they run individual. What's the way to protect your design plans from change to making product? That's kind of like a super specific question. But how do you buy? I think someone asked something similar. If I had to buy a wood furniture company, I would see. I don't know if you're building furniture yourself or you want to start a furniture company. I'm real big on money, right? Focus on what makes money first, right? If you have a furniture store and you want to make furniture on the side, cool. The furniture store will support all of that. If you have something like a woodworking shop that does like engravings, that does trophies, that does like that type of stuff, that stuff can make money while you build your furniture and do your woodworking on the side, because woodworking is more of a hobby than a career. And if you're doing like one-off furniture, unless you're selling them for 20 grand a piece, more likely you're not going to make that much money. So you need to get something that's like a sister or brother trait, make money with that, and while you integrate your systems into that, right? Martin, how many people's lives have you changed? Thousands. I don't know. I don't count. It's irrelevant. I don't try to look at it like that. I don't try to look at it. It's not like a metric, right? Maybe what's bad part about it is some people will. When I very first started going live, I think I did my first live in 2019, and there was a guy back in the day. I used to talk. It's comically about 100 people in here now. Back in the day, I would talk and it would be nobody. I'll be just talking and nobody would be in here. And I remember this one kid used to come in there. He came in. He was like one of the only guys I used to talk to. I said, "Yo, man, how you doing? Let's go ahead and talk. I have no one else in here. I'll talk to you. I'll answer your questions specifically." And we just got to talking. He said he was 18 years old, 19 years old. He had a decent job as a mechanic. He didn't have a lot of savings and his credit was okay. What should he do? And I broke down how to start investing in the stock market. I said, "You got a 401k at your job?" "Nope." "Cool. How much can you afford every month?" I think he said something like $400 or something. I said, "So $200 every paycheck, and you'll be comfortable. You won't, because if you start this, I don't want you to damn quit on me, right? We do this for life." He said, "Okay, cool." Boom. I showed him exactly how to do it. Go to these apps, go to these portfolios, try to do these right here. I'll give you I'll tell you how much they make or what their interest rate, and you kind of pick from there. I can't really tell you what to do without being a financial advisor, but I'll tell you exactly where you need to be at. He said, "Okay, cool." He did that shit. And if you really pay attention to my lives, he will literally come on here and say stuff like, "Hey man, that fund you told me to set up like 5-6 years, whatever, how long ago it was, man, that shit has comically $290,000 in there." And I did the math on it. I'll be worth something in the range of $8 million by the time I'm 60. And I said, "Oh, shit, cool, man, thanks." Right? Not a dime. I did that shit for free because I had no one to talk to. And stuff like that, I did it all the time. One other person, when I was in the military, this was 2016. I was talking to money about somebody, or I was talking to somebody, and this one younger girl, she was like I think she was 22 at the time. She said, "Oh yeah, my dad died. He left me a car and $150,000. What should I do?" I said, "Shit, we finna get to work." So we set up multiple different portfolios. We set up all kind of stuff. This was in 2016. I talked to her recently in 2000 and the end of 2023. Um, that account had almost $800,000 in it. Comically, it was a lot. It was a lot. That the market did so well during that tenure. I mean, it was nuts, man. I was like, jeez. And she was contributing to it every month. She had like 150, and she was putting in like $2,000 a month into it or something like that. I don't remember what it was. And she's probably, when I last time I talked to her, she was close to about 30. She was 30 with $800,000 in an account that was doing about 14% juice. No, that it was doing a lot more than that. I think she was almost at 18% compounded interest. That was last year. It's got to be $1 million now. It's got to be easily. She's 30 years old, probably $900,000. She keep it in there about 40, 45. I give it about 45. 45, she'll have about $5 million, $4 or $5 million. And then she retired from the military, get her military retirement, get her disability. She ain't working for no one ever in her life. So when people say stuff like, do you change people's lives? I mean, I taught a 22-year-old kid how to be a millionaire by at 45 years old. Multi-millionaire by 45 years old. I mean, is that statistically or is that in theory changing someone's life? I'm sure it is, but you got to take the steps, man. I mean, I could tell you blue in the face. And also on the flip side, have I told somebody to do something and they didn't do it and they come back to me years later and say, I mean, I wish I would have did it? Yeah. One of my good friends, 2009. I want to buy me some real property. Cool. Put your money into a high yield savings account until you get enough money to save up for it. And at the time, the houses were selling for it. He found one house, it was for sale for $70,000. So he really only needed like a couple grand or something. He only needed he really didn't need a lot. I don't remember how much he needed. He needed like that $3,000 or something. He saved up to 2,500. No, he saved up to like 1,500. And he said, yo, man, I want to go out to a party. I want to go to take a vacation. I said, okay, well, you want a house or you want a vacation? He said, I want a vacation. I said, all right, whatever. Last year, he texted me or messaged me, talking about, yo, man, I'm ready to start investing in real estate. I said, motherfucker, that was 14 years ago, 13 years ago. He said, yeah, I'm ready now. I said, question, the house you was from the buy, you ever looked it up? He said, yep. I said, what is it worth now? He said, 225. I said, so if you'd have bought it for 70 and you worth 225 now, how much you'd have been up? He said, I don't even like to think about it. I said, yeah, it'd be like that. But it is what it is. People don't listen. People do what they want to do. You can lead the horse to water, right? You can't make them drink it. You got to put in the work. You got to do what you need, what needs to be done. One more quick question. Should I create an LLC or entity, or should I buy a job replacing business? I want out of my job. Okay. That's kind of like a weird question. It's not a real question. Okay. You're asking like questions that's almost irrelevant to the next question. You don't need an LLC to buy an existing business. So if you want, why do you want to create an LLC? Right? If you want to create an LLC to start a business or to run your business through it, or if you want to get an LLC to go out there and get business funding, that's why you would do that. But would you want to go out but you can go buy a business without an LLC. But now if you want to use the business lines of credit to buy a business or buy real estate, then you need an LLC or LLC, S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietorship, and that shit. You need that for that. So that's a whole different thing. So if you want to buy a business, you don't need that to buy a business. If you want an LLC to go get business funding, go get business line of credit, have your own entity for like real estate purposes or to have your own business purposes, that's fine. But you don't need, one doesn't require the other. And if you do buy an existing business, more than likely you'll take over their corporate structure. So if they have an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietorship, and you buy that one from that person, then you just take over that one, right? They'll be more likely the registered agent, and they'll probably have managers and shit like that. You take over the process when you become the registered agent of that LLC, S Corp, C Corp, and then now they'll step down or be a manager in the business if you want them as a consultant or something like that. But you don't even need them to be a consultant. You just kick their asses out, you take over the process, and you take over their LLC. It'll reset the corporate structure, but hell, who cares? Hope that answered the question. It's kind of it's almost like saying, what should I get? A cat or a giraffe? Like what? Like you can buy whatever you want, but the cat has nothing to do with the giraffe, right? You want a giraffe, you're gonna have to set up a house for a giraffe. If you want a cat, you just get a cat. Nothing, they have nothing to do with each other. That's a horrible analogy, but you get the gist. Anyways, my house will be paid off. My house will be paid off this year. I'm 24. I'm definitely happier traveling experience. What opinion on backpacking foreign countries? You know, every time someone talks about backpacking overseas, I always think about the movie Hostel. But I don't know exactly where you want to go. If you get to Europe, I don't know where you are now. Europe, when you get to Europe, in Europe, it's super cheap to travel there, right? I would stay away from any of the stands, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, anything that ends in stan, or anything that anybody who's fighting over Holy Land, they're gonna be fighting forever. It ain't never gonna change. So screw that. India's cool. Japan, South Korea is cool. Philippines, depending, you can live like a king over there. Some parts of South America, cool. Do this, individual, if they're still in here. Read a book called The 4-Hour Work Week. Okay? There's a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and it's an individual who started investing and learned how to live on the bare minimums of life. And what he did is he traveled all over the world and he found the best accommodations for the cheapest price. Meaning that, let's say if you bought 5 rental properties and 5 rental properties paid you $1,500. I mean, 5 rental properties paid you $500 a piece, which is $2,500. Now you're thinking to yourself, $2,500 a month is not a lot of money in America, right? In any state. But you take $2,500 to Singapore, $1,500 to Thailand, $2,500 to Thailand, $2,500 to the Philippines, $2,500 to some parts of like Prague, or some parts of Germany, some parts of Peru, or some part of South America, Colombia, you will live like a multimillionaire. You would live like a multimillionaire. You could spend $1,000 a month and get a high rise in Thailand. You get a high rise apartment, a maid, a butler. You can eat at the best restaurants, a gym membership, and you can go to the club 3 times a week for like $1,000 a month, maybe $1,500. You can't even pay your HOA in a high rise in the United States with that kind of money. So, good book, 4-hour work week, and it kind of breaks down the best places you can live. It teaches you how to live off, how to start making money to start living off of it to travel. Once you start traveling, then it breaks down the best places. If you just want to get to the end of the book, because I kind of just gave you the gist of it, go to the end of the book and it kind of breaks down all the places you can travel to. And it tells you all the places that you shouldn't visit that are either too expensive or they're like, you want to travel, you don't want to be like decapitated as like you don't want to like be in like a war crime or some crap like that. But it's all good. All right. I appreciate y'all for being here. If you're not following, make sure you follow. Click the link in the bio. Join the free class or go follow me on YouTube. Because I try to give y'all a game. I said I was going to stay on here for a little amount of time, but I can't stay on here too much longer. I have to meet somebody. But I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And if you have any questions, just remember them next time I'm on and just ask me then, and I'll get to see if I can get to it. Hope that World Traveler kind of let me know where you go to, or let me know where you're thinking about going, because I like talking about stuff like that. I've traveled. I've been all around the world. Now, the military sends you everywhere. Greenland, Poland, Iceland, Germany, Paris, France, Bahrain, Qatar, Iraq, Afghanistan, Canada. It's just Japan, Thailand, Portugal, just Hawaii, Alaska, which Alaska wasn't as cold as I thought it was going to be. I did see a polar bear. I saw a moose. Moose are more impressive than polar bears. That damn thing was big as the damn SUV. Bigger. It's like a walking Escalade. I thought the things were like horses. No. That thing would eat a horse. But it's been real and it's been fun. But it hasn't been real fun. Later, dudes.